Alright, hey guys, today at this point in the year, it is about halfway through October. Here in Michigan, we've been getting a lot of rain, which means the snow is on its way. And you'll probably see some leaves and things flying from behind me. Not too many of the trees have really changed yet, but they are dying, not really dying, they're drying out fairly quickly. So, anyway, I wanted to talk to you guys today really quickly about the two things that you can do at this point in the year to help give your hives the best chance of survival over the winter. At this point in the year, if you haven't treated for mites and beetles and all that good stuff yet, I would say almost too late. If we do get a couple of drier, windy days that warm up a little bit, then there's not too much moisture, you can probably still do it. But at this point, the two biggest things that I would be concerned with would be moisture and mouse gardens. Especially as the fields, the local farmers, and everybody start harvesting, the field mice and everything are going to start looking for new places to live. Beehives are hot spots for them. They really enjoy going into beehives, and a lot of times you might not necessarily know that they're there for a while. So I always recommend putting mouse guards on. There was one year that I had one yard that I neglected. I only had about 11 hives in it, but still 11 hives. They're not cheap, so it's a lot of time and a lot of work into them. And in that yard, I had 9 out of 11 die because mice got in there, ate all the food over the winter, and then the bees starved out. So that was a learning mistake, one that you will hopefully not have to make. But with that, then moisture, especially with all the rain and everything that we've been getting here in Michigan, moisture is going to be a big issue. One thing that I do as a fail-safe for most of my hives, regardless of whatever else I'm doing to manage them, I always stick a little shim or a pebble, rock, something behind on the back side of the hive so that the hive tilts slightly forward. It doesn't have to be a very big angle, and it really shouldn't. Just enough that if any water or moisture does get in there, it will roll out the front of the hive and not collect and freeze on the bottom. So that's one thing that I do. And then on my lids, I add an extra little lip to everything to make sure that any snow and water, when it melts, and like when water comes through, that it's not going to leak through any cracks, and that the extra lip puts it just a little bit further away from the entrance of the bees' front porch on each hive, so that the dust doesn't help. Right now, those are the two biggest things that I would be concerned with in managing my hives. Also with feeding, I would still definitely be feeding on the day, if your bees are flying, if it's a day that it's warm enough for them to fly, I would definitely have some extra food for them. If you're doing a communal feeding, kind of an out in the open, like a feeder pail or something, I would 100% do it on a day that they're flying. If you have an in-hive feeder, which is what I recommend, because then you know exactly how much that hive is getting. They don't have to leave for it, so they can still stay warm while they're trying to get food. I like those a lot better, and it ensures that that hive itself is getting the food, and you can monitor what they're actually getting, and you know you're not feeding your neighbor's bees any wild critters or anything like that. So that's kind of my tip for this point in the month and in the year. I'm not 100% sure yet how winter's going to go. There are some indicators that it could be fairly mild in terms of the bees, so that they're a little bit more active. But then there's also indicators that we could have a really bitter winter, so I'm not sure yet. We'll see. That's what I've got for today, and I will see you guys next time.